Hi, I'm Jordana Lambie. I just graduated a couple weeks ago from Bishop Montgomery, and I'll be going to George Washington University in August.
Woo woo.
Civil engineering.
Because I'm an alum too.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Um, I'm a part of the SEAS program, and I'm gonna be majoring in civil engineering for the next 4 years.
Nice. And Bailey, what say you? What are you? Bailey?
Yes. Hi, I'm Bailey Salisbury. I graduated GW December 2021. I was a women's gender and sexuality study major on the pre-med track. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
I don't eeny, meeny, miny, what. These three are some of my, well, I'm biased because they're all GW, right? But these are my favorite. These are really some of my favorite students. I try not to overshow it. I have a separate kind of way of, I got to meet each one. It's so kind of special. Let's go to Imani next. Imani, what year are you in?
I'll be a senior this August. Oh yeah. I'm in CCAS studying political science.
CCAS?
Policy.
What is that?
Arts and Sciences, the Columbia, yeah. So studying poli-sci. Yeah. I'm here now on the Vern.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. All right, okay, Samara, what's up?
Hi, Jordana. I'm Samara. I am majoring. I'm going to be a junior in the fall, and I'm majoring in exercise science with a concentration in pre-health professional, and I'm also on the pre-med track. And I'm in the Milken School of Public Health.
Right, that's right. And let's see. So let's talk about here's going to happen to that. I'm going to ask them a few questions to bring out some things, experiences they've had, and that I think you might want to know about. And these are new people you'll know. There's like 3 or 4 others you need to meet, but they couldn't make it. So we'll make that happen. Don't worry. And I don't know. Let me find. I'm just so curious about this because I never got it to happen because of the pandemic. But Imani and Samara, have you met before?
No.
Great. Now you have a new friend. Now you have a new friend. Y'all are so cool. Y'all should get to know it. Y'all should just meet for a cup of coffee or something.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, you should. All right. Samara, where'd you go to high school?
I went to Marymount High School.
Yes. And Imani, where'd you go?
Long Beach Poly.
You don't say Poly Pace anymore?
I mean, I guess, but just Poly, yeah.
Bailey, where you go to high school?
I went to V Park High School.
Nice. All right. So Imani, it's interesting. You're kind of like know a lot about DC. How's it like? Let's talk about getting around in DC a little bit for a minute and kind of what you learn about getting around the city. Kind of like a short, long answer. Go.
I don't know. Like I drove when I was back home, so it's definitely different not having a car, just like you and whatever you can carry. I've gotten used to the metro. I really like being able to go anywhere I need to go, just like on the metro or walking. I did a lot of walking, like a lot more than I used to, just walking places. But like campus itself is like pretty small, I would say, like not super big. So like you can get, it's not a really big issue to like walk to like all the different buildings and stuff like that. But like going other places like the grocery store and stuff like that, like sometimes you take a bus or like the metro and like walking and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's everything's pretty, like everything that I needed like freshman year and stuff like that was like pretty much where like close to campus, so I didn't really need, like it wasn't a big issue.
Quickly, what was your favorite place off campus to eat?
Oh my
Did you eat on
gosh.
campus a lot? You didn't really eat on.
There was this place called One Fish Two Fish, is like a Chinese food restaurant, and they were like
restaurant. I knew it.
they only delivered, like they delivered to the Vern, and like a lot of places didn't go to the Vern, but they did until like 11, so I would get a lot of stuff there.
You're saying the Vern, just make sure you let her know what that
Oh, the Vern is like, there's like 2 campuses, and the Vern is like kind of closer to Georgetown. And it's like where a lot of freshmen live there. They have like the living learning communities. So like I was in politics and values, just like a poli-sci living learning community. And then everybody takes UW on the Vern, which is like the intro like
Oh, yeah,
writing
that's right.
course.
She'll end up going there.
Yeah.
Right.
So like you have to go there for like your courses, but I don't know if you'll like live there or not, but it's like you have to take the shuttle, like the VEX shuttle. It's not that long. It's like 15 minutes. It's not too bad, but yeah.
Okay, Samara, try to answer all that. Getting around town. I
Okay.
need to know your favorite restaurant, that
Okay.
kind of stuff. Go ahead.
So I lived on the Foggy Bottom campus, so the one where all the main classes are, and that's more central to the city. And I too had a car before coming to DC, so that was an adjustment. But on the Foggy Bottom campus, there's a metro literally like on the campus,
Yeah, that's right.
and central to everything. So it's like 2 blocks from every dorm and really easy to navigate once you like figure out the systems. And GW just made a thing where and they're giving all students like a metro pass. So
Oh,
and it's completely free, so you don't have to pay for the metro, which is really nice. And so like I said, that's really easy to navigate, and we do have Whole Foods on campus, which we can use our G World card at.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so and the G World is basically like your swipe card for meals. We don't have we're gonna get a dining hall, but right now there's just it's basically like money on a card, and you can use it at certain vendors and restaurants and stores on the GW campus. And so Whole Foods is like right on campus, and that's like a place that a lot of students shop at, just because like that's what our card is connected to. And you do have to lug your groceries and try to carry as much as you can, but it's not as bad. You'll be proud of yourself each time you do it, because then you're like, oh, like I'm getting stronger. And then what was the other question?
you got them pretty much. Oh, where you like to eat off campus?
Oh, I don't know if
If
I,
you do,
I
you don't go out
I'm
and cook
still
for
trying to
yourself.
find like a good food place. This is like my first year on campus, really. So I was sort of just like testing everything out. But
Well, that's
George,
right. You had the pandemic the first time you
yeah.
went back. Yeah.
And so Georgetown is like a straight shot from the Foggy Bottom campus and like a 20-minute walk, which is actually it's a pretty nice walk. It's not bad at all.
Walk.
Yeah. You can I don't take the bus. I need to learn how to take
No,
the bus.
you can take the circulator, but like you might as well just walk.
Yeah,
It's a really nice
it's
walk.
straight and it's really
I need
easy.
to
And if
talk
you're
to you.
with
I need to talk to you offline.
it's not bad. And when you're with friends, it's even easier. And there's like a huge street with like different stores, like shopping, and then
It's
also
cool.
like smaller restaurants. And it's really pretty at night too. So that's really walkable and easy. So just in general, like not transportation is really simple. And you're going to be doing a lot of walking, but it's manageable.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Hey, Bailey. So you're kind of unusual. You were there the first year on the campus. Bam, the pandemic hit. Then you went back to finish. Yes.
Yes.
So
I was
talk
on
about.
the, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead and just sort of relate to what they were saying. Come on.
Okay, so I was pretty much on the campus the whole time except for, was it a full year or was it more like a semester?
Maybe a
Oh,
semester that you can. I don't know.
yeah, I don't even think it was a full year that I was away. Um, but for me, I stayed on Mount Vernon's campus for probably the first 3 years. To be honest, I liked Mount Vernon
I
because
know.
for me, I wanted something more secluded coming from far away from
Oh, I
home. So
forgot about
Mount
that.
Vernon, yes, it's more of like a secluded campus, more quote unquote gated. I guess that's what you can say. It's more closed in, and it's more, yeah, more closed in than the main campus, because the main campus is not really like a campus. It's pretty much open to the city. So for me, I think the transition of like having that close knit community was important. So that's why I decided to stay on Mount Vernon for so long. And it's really quiet and it's really peaceful. For me, Um,
Anywhere off campus you like? I never
I
asked you
I
that.
didn't really go to. There weren't a lot of places I went off campus as far as food is concerned. Not too far. I did a lot of walking. The main campus, it's the buildings are not far, but depending on where you're coming from, it can kind of be a bit of a walk. I love walking, so that's something that I love to do. But it is kind of a walk depending on where you're coming from. For example, I would say our two furthest buildings would be Milken School of Public Health, and I forgot to mention I minored in public health, and then the Elliott School of Business. Those are the two farthest buildings. So depending on how you view walking, how short or long of a distance the buildings are kind of spread out, but it's pretty cool to just be able to walk everywhere. And it's not the main campus is not a traditional campus, which is why I like it. Like I said, it's open to the city, so it's pretty cool. Um, I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
No, no, you did it. You did it. You did it. So let's talk about activities, which is kind of difficult. Hold on. I'm in the city. Got a ghetto bird. All right, okay. Down here in Long Beach, in case you're wondering, Imani. Trying to make you a hater, but I can't do that. All right, okay. So talk about briefly about any activities you got involved with on campus, and what did you do? I'll start with, maybe you didn't get a chance because remember the pandemic messed everything up. So I don't know what you're going to tell. I have no idea what you're going to tell me. I know a little bit about him. Let's start with Imani. No. Start with Bailey.
Okay, so
Oh,
I was
I know something I hope you bring up. Let's see if you do. Go ahead.
okay. I was pretty boring. I didn't really do too much, which I can honestly say that's probably the thing I regret the most. You would have thought I had a curfew because it was pretty much class and back to my room for me. But one of the things that I enjoyed the most was walking everywhere. I think that besides the gym, one of the things that I made sure I took time to do was walk around like outside in nature. So one of the things I did was I would walk to from GW to the waterfront. I did that as much as possible. And then it was like actually my last semester when I found out that we had the national park or one of them that was so close to campus, like right off the waterfront.
Yeah.
So I would walk there. But
talk about multicultural.
Oh, okay. So we have a multicultural building, and this was the building that I was introduced to, and it's basically when I first was introduced to it, it was kind of the place where all the Black people hung out. So I met the two people who were basically in charge of it, Tap Scott being one of them. And
Tap. Shout out to Tap.
And then I was also introduced to George Rice, who's no longer there, but Tap Scott is still there. But it was like home away from home for me. So I knew that it would take me a minute to find friends on campus because I'm not really one to necessarily go and introduce myself to other people. So I knew that every time I would go there, everybody was friendly. The main floor is kind of where everybody chilled, hung out, and did whatever. And then there was rooms upstairs, more quiet if you wanted to do homework. There was a prayer room, you could sleep. I took naps there multiple times. I did homework there, hung out with people. There were events that happened through the Multicultural Center. For example, there was a block party every September.
Yeah, that's what I want you to bring up.
Yeah, and so if you like once you go into the Multicultural Center and you give them your email, they keep you updated with all the events that's going on. And a lot of the sororities and fraternities would have things through the Multicultural Center, so there was always events happening. So for example, the block party is just a way of gathering at the beginning of the year for everybody to get together and meet each other. There was like I wouldn't necessarily call it a step show, but it was with the fraternities and sororities, just a way of mingling and getting to know each other. All different types of groups are in the Multicultural Center. So yeah, it's just a place to, hang out and connect and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And that's what I was saying, Jordan. I'm going to make sure you meet your mom and you meet Tap Scott. I'm going to give you a private audience with him, and he'll get somebody to take you through there. I think it's going to be important for you. And engineering CEAS has their own activities to keep you involved too. I want to see you really active in those. That's the secret to finishing college on time. or the reasonable amount of time. Now, Samara, what are you going to say to this? A long, short answer.
To which part?
Oh, just anything you got involved with on any kind of
Oh,
involvement
okay.
on campus. If you're
Well,
doing something now at school, whatever.
yeah, no, I was like, did I do anything? I forgot. I was the director of finance for Black Defiance Club,
Oh,
which was basically like a Black feminist
right.
club with that type of lens. That was like the main club that I was like on the e-board for. I was part of the BSU, part of the Black Girl Pre-Health Club. And I think there's like a Black Hair Club that I went to events for. I was really active and at the Learner Center, which was the gym. They have a lot of great resources. And the Multicultural Center for me was a little different. I feel like they're having sort of a revamp to like this past year of just like trying to get more students to come. I know in years in the past, it was a lot more active and there was a stronger Black community. So they're trying to get more kids or like students to know about it and to come. And I didn't even hear about the block party. I don't know if that's still happening. But there are a lot of like the sororities and frats like are definitely, they have a lot of events through there. And it's still active. It's just not as dominant on campus that like I would have hoped. But I think that because of my student body, like the sophomores and juniors like coming in from COVID and like sort of having trouble finding that sense of like community.
That's what I think it is.
We're trying to like bring it back and have more events. I know I led an event. It was more of like a discussion with guys and girls about the dynamic between the two on it at the Multicultural Student Center, and so that gathered a lot of attention, and a lot of people came to that, which was good. But I normally try to, because I'm pre-med, I've been trying to do like a lot more stuff that'll build my resume, and like clubs and stuff like doesn't really do that. Unless you're like the president or like on the e-board. So GW has a lot of, and especially like the school that you're in, they have a lot of opportunities that you can be a part of outside of GW, but in DC, like I'm part of 110 Health, which was like an HIV and COVID testing site all run by college students. So like Georgetown, Howard students, American.
Are you meeting other students there, meeting people and get?
No, it's only led by college students and
that's what I want to hear.
Students in the DC. So that's great. And then also I got a research position at the Center of Mind Body Medicine. And so just make sure if you want to get more involved with things that'll build your resume, definitely reach out to your school that you're in and they'll provide you with resources that other students have like gone into and done that will like help you.
All right. And Imani, I saved you because what's your primary involvement now at the school? I'm cheating because I know a little more, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in program board. I'll be the chair next year.
I tell you, my oldest daughter was 2 years doing that, became a leader, almost won an election. My oldest daughter. All right, go ahead. I hope she could surprise y'all, but she couldn't make it, but go ahead.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing, like kind of focusing like my energy on.
What does program board do real quick?
Oh yeah, like we plan like large like campus events. So we have like a concert in the spring called Spring Fling that we have. We have like a fall like comedy show where we bring like a big like comedy artist to come and like have a show. Just like large scale like campus events is what we mainly focus on. So that's like my main involvement, but I've definitely seen like with the BHC, which is the Black Heritage Celebration they had last year, like a lot of like different orgs like really stepping it up and like having really good programming and stuff like that. So like the BSU and like the BHC, like they've been doing, I saw like a lot of really good like events coming out of that. So I feel like you can like definitely find like your people. I also like make an effort to like take, like I took a class called Black Women Writers in the 21st Century, and like it was majority Black women in that class. So like if you take classes where you know there's going to be other people like you, like other Black people, then that's
also exactly a full white class in there.
Sorry.
It won't be like,
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
white class, will it?
Or like
I
if
I
There'll be
took
yeah.
some in
black
there. There'll be
I
some
took
in there
Black
that
American music
white people in
in
there.
America, and it was like mostly white,
But
and then the
but
teacher was white.
that's a testament to my theory that Black Americans are Americans. You ever see High on the Hog?
Who?
High on the Hog on Netflix.
Oh, I watched
Oh,
like an
you
episode.
should see that. Just 4 episodes. That's one thing you come out of there knowing. Without us, there's no America.
Yeah.
So
I was just
yeah, like
surprised.
and it was
They stuck with us now.
it was a Black
About that.
professor, like a known like Black female professor. So I knew other people would be taking her class who were like me type of thing. So like
Okay, you knew.
that's another way to like I guess like find people that are maybe like in your majors to find like those classes that like taught by Black professors or like that you think that like other people would take. So then yeah.
There's a very sizable involvement, Jordana, by the NSBE in that engineering school. There's a lot of Black engineering influence on that engineering school right now. I don't know if you saw it in orientation. Go ahead, Jordana, you have a question.
So, if you're like a freshman student just coming into GW, would it best to like when you're just starting out and you kind of just want like, like a friend group that's gonna like be with you to just like go to the store or something that's like gonna be equally confused as you if you don't know where to go? Like, would it be best to find people in your major and in your classes and your programs, or I don't know, maybe start out with your roommate or get a job or something, or where would you like get your initial group of friends from?
How about Bailey first and Samara, then Imani? Go, Bailey.
For
Great.
me,
It's a great question.
yeah, it's a great question. It's not a one answer type of question. It's really just a mix of everything. I know, for example, for me, when I first started off, there weren't as many classes about Black people, so there weren't a lot of Black classes like there are now. So that wasn't necessarily my first avenue, but I can say, for example, my roommates and definitely the Multicultural Center for me was my first two.
That's right.
And then I did make friends in my classes. I just had to, kind of push myself to speak out more. So that's
I
pretty much,
remember
but
that.
it's not like a one answer type of thing. It's kind of like a mix of things. And I know for me, there was a group chat, a Black group chat, and I think it was on GroupMe. I don't really know how active it is now, but when I first started, it was very active. So that was another way we communicated, but it's kind of like a mix of everything.
Okay, I'll try to keep moving along here. Samara?
For me personally, I would start with roommates. Coming out of like COVID, everyone we were wearing masks and everything when we came back to in-person classes, and everyone was just in and out, and no one was trying to like introduce themselves or mingle. And that slowly like start like once you see and sit next to the same person, like after a few classes, like you'll start to like talk to them and everything. But I would just say start with your roommates because you'll get to know them very well. Even if you're not like the best friends with them as you think, you're still like sharing a space with them, and like we'll talk to them eventually. And if you like share ideas, and like it's easier to be like, hey, like, do you need to go to the grocery store? Like, well, let's go together, than to like try to plan it with someone that you just meet in class like right away. I think also with like jobs and everything, like it'll take time to formulate that, but when you have a roommate, you see them every day no matter what, and you'll just sort of see like how that relationship is no matter like how like surface level or deep it gets. But yeah, I would say just, I know you're trying to like build that friend group right away, but make sure it's with people that you really want rather than like trying to get that group right away, because you'll find that there's a lot of different people in college. And I know that was my first experience. Like I had 3 other roommates, and there's a lot of different personalities. So just make sure that the friends that you choose, like you, they're people that you want to be around rather than, oh, I just want friends. And I think the more time you spend around different people, you'll gauge like how comfortable you are and if you like really want to be around them.
Good, very good. Of course, I love the way you said that. I like some Bailey's. I love the way you said that because it gave me a chance to tag on Jordana and say, you can find people who have your interests and values. So that's really cool. The one thing I like about GW that I want to go to Imani to answer, I'm going to Imani, you know I'm coming over there. But what I want to say is that what I forgot what I like about GW. I think the multicultural aspect of GW is you'll find people of all ethnicities and races. I don't know if it's just me, but at GW, I have kids all over the country, but I find at GW they go across racial lines more than other of my schools. And I thought it was interesting. GW was, at the time they were doing it, ranked very high on Black Enterprise's top Black. It was only majority white school in there because of the multicultural connections they thought was good for Black students. I just thought I'd throw that in. I think that I forgot I like that about GW. So Imani, what about you? Low hanging fruit of roommate, or where were your
Yeah,
first,
I
where
would
were your
say
first
that.
connections?
Like roommates, because it's the easiest. People who live on your floor, like don't like put too much on yourself to like go. Like there's a lot of like weeks of welcome events and stuff like that, and it can be like overwhelming. So like don't pressure yourself too much to do that. And I feel like also like being in C's, because it's there's a lot of people who are like in like the humanities and the arts, you'll automatically maybe have like closer connection with people than like somebody who's going through like CCAS and like which is like a very large school and has like a ton of majors and stuff like that. Like the program itself is already a little bit smaller, and so like you'll start to see the same like people in your classes. Like if you see like the same person in like 2 or 3 of your classes, then you know like okay, we're kind of like on the same track and you can start to like connect with them. But like your people on your floor and like people in your hall is like fine for like the first, you know, like just getting out there.
I'm just going to say 2 words and you all can quickly respond. Then we'll go to Jordana for questions. And I see one of my greatest parents, Dorette Lambe, here. Sister Dorette, before I go to you, I want to say that I had a cool idea just now when I saw Bailey, when she came in. I want to set up a meeting with Bailey's mom and Samara's mom. I like the way they handled the move-in theory and all that. So I'm going to probably have a separate thing for you, but you may have questions later for these young ladies here too. I'm going to say 2 words to y'all. Tell me something about a really tough teacher you had. Who wants to go first? I got to get at least 2 out of 3. Samara?
It was, all the teachers are really nice. It's just sometimes they can stick to like the rules, or I don't know, whatever the department's like regulations or whatever. So for me it was for a calc class, like literally calc 1. And
Calculus.
yes, it's terrible. And so we had a teacher going in.
Billy, don't say a word.
He had a teacher, he was introducing himself for the first 2 classes, and it seemed like it was going to be a challenge, but it was fine. And then midway through, like he completely switched to another teacher. And if this was her first time teaching at GW, she was new, and she followed his style of teaching, but it just was going so fast paced. It didn't correlate with the quizzes and the tests were like, there was only 2, so they were weighted heavily. And she also just had a really strong accent. And so no one in the class could
Middle Eastern,
understand
right?
her.
Was it Middle Eastern?
No, it was Asian. And
Oh,
we just really didn't understand like every single sentence. Someone's always raising their hand, like trying to figure out like what was going on, what she said. And it was just a mess up
you don't
until
have to say anything more. I get that one.
yeah. And yeah, there was a
That was
lot of
your,
emails at the end of the semester. But I mean, other than that, the teachers are really understanding and nice.
yes.
It's just sometimes you're stuck in tough situations.
So that was your class from hell. Okay. What about you? That's what I wanted to call this segment, but Imani, what about you? Imani? You got to turn on your microphone. I got to hear this. Turn on your microphone.
I don't really have one.
Okay.
Like,
all right. Well,
yeah.
well, wait. Keep on living. All right, let's go. Well, you're very blessed and highly favored. Bailey, what about you? You want to comment here or just let it ride?
I think I kind of fall with Imani, or at least for what I can remember, to be honest. There are a lot of things I don't remember, but for the most part, my professors were very understanding. And I know for me personally, to try to get ahead of things, I just always make sure I introduce myself to the professor on the day of. Always kept in contact. So it kind of helped me out in the long run whenever I needed help with anything, or let's say I needed an extension. It worked out better that way because I tried to form that relationship. I could say probably the most difficult professors, or the professors that it might be a little harder to try to build that relationship with, probably would be in the science department. But it just really depends. It just really depends. But for the most part, like Imani, my professors were pretty understanding. So
That's
I
smart.
think I think my takeaway from that experience was a lot of the students tried to like fix this situation at the end of the semester rather than like right when we realized we were going downhill. And so I think if you're ever having trouble with a class or a professor, like go to the department head and just communicate. Well, I mean, first go to
Good
the
advice.
teacher, go to the teacher if you want, but if it's something you think is not gonna work, then go to the department head and just and also get a couple friends if you realize that they are also having the same struggle
Y'all
as
go
you.
together there.
And yeah, communicate with them, and they'll normally like be really understanding. The department head was super nice after we talked to them, but nothing changed because it was the end of the semester. But yeah, just try to like do it ahead of the time when you realize that like things might not be going the way that you expected, and try to get friends to back you as well.
All right, Jordan, anything else?
So I heard from the teachers when I went to my first college visit there that I really need to rely on like study groups and on research projects
Yeah,
with
engineering schools
if
like
I wanted to, create like a connection. Do I create those study groups on GroupMe? I haven't really gone on there yet, but do you know what that app is kind of for?
I think I can talk a lot about that because I'm in a lot of science classes.
that. I'm sorry,
I
that was a little
personally, I
laugh.
personally struggled with finding study groups just because I felt like I needed to be friends with the people first and then go into the study groups, which is not always necessarily true. So I think like taking that mindset out, and also normally when you're a freshman and you're in a class, like a lot of students are very eager to create group me's. And so you do not need to create it. There is already like 5 already created. So I think just asking maybe the person sitting next to you, whatever class, like the first or second class, if they know if there's a group me that's been created, or even asking the teacher if they
Teacher
know
will
of
tell
any
you.
students that have created it, and they can send an email to the class, because that always works really well, because someone has already created the group me, someone already created a study group, so you don't have to worry about creating it, and it's basically an app that it's just like contacts and group chats, and it's for specific classes that students create or study groups. So I would recommend getting it, and just asking like the person sitting next to you, or if the teacher could like send an email, if it's a created.
In the engineering, that's very good. In the engineering school, you might find it more organic and expected. So, when I know I was in school in ancient times in engineering school. It's back in ancient days when dinosaurs roamed the earth. And I heard it's still true. And I heard it when I was there too. It's kind of organic. There's like senior students that sort of cause them to happen organically in classes. Also, so be on alert for that. You'll definitely be on alert for that. Okay. Anything else, Jordana? Then I'm gonna go to your mom, see if she has any questions to ask them. Being the observant parent she is, she may want to ask you one of you three a question. Sister.
Oh wait, I have a thing to add about the study groups.
I'm sorry. I'm so
In
sorry I didn't go to you.
the like very few science classes I've taken, a lot of the times they have a lab section that you have to take with the regular lecture section, which is like larger. So maybe start with the people who are in your lab and in the lecture, and like those can be like people that like you target for like asking them if they want to study, because like lab sections are smaller and they're getting like the same TA with you, so like you guys could like sit together during lecture, like try to like do that. So then maybe try that like for ones you have labs, so it's like kind of narrows it down like from a large lecture to like, you know, like 5 people that you know are like doing the same thing you're doing.
Hey, Samara and Bailey, is this, she made me think of something. Is lab still the place where teachers like to ask questions that there's no way to answer? It's not related to the lab. They ask some kind of weird question. You have to get together with people to understand it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just still pulling out something I don't remember right.
I don't think so. That's normally not the teacher doing the lab. It's like a TA.
Right.
And for me, like chemistry and bio, there's like a lot of packets that you have to do, and it's more review. I haven't come across like
I remember those being annoying though. Go ahead though.
No, like it's terrible. It's terrible, but it's not, it's still like connected. Yeah, it's not
Peace.
like this is some random question. Yeah.
That's just me then. Okay. All right, Sister Lambe, how you doing, Sister Dorette? Are you there? Is she there?
I'm here.
Did you have any questions?
I'm doing great, thank you.
For these scholars? You have any questions for these scholars?
Well, I just want to say I'm really impressed with the conversations that I've heard. You all seemed like you went over there and you handled it pretty well. I guess one of the main questions that I would ask is coming all the way from the West Coast, going over there to the East Coast, your first week, what was it like?
Do you remember? Let's let them answer that question first.
I do. I will go. I got sick the first thing my week.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got sick. I came here and like it was fine, and then like the whole like weeks of welcome stuff, I missed it and I was sick. So there was that. But I think
so the second week was your first week.
Yeah, the main thing that like the biggest adjustment, because like I think a lot of people at GW, like their big adjustment is coming from like rural to like city life and like living in a city the first time and like getting like kind of that cultural diversity for the first time. And that wasn't really like my struggle. I don't think it will be yours coming from like LA to like here. Like you've already kind of been exposed to that. So I think like the biggest thing for me was like the weather. The weather was like the hugest thing. And then like kind of like the pace of life is just a little bit different. It's very like fast paced, on time, serious, like structured, where it maybe is feels a little more easygoing back home. I don't know. But the weather was like the biggest thing for me. Is just like, and then also like being in college, like being away from home and like, you know, in this new place. But like I did not own a coat my first year. So like, it's like, where do you get a coat from? And like getting a coat, getting boots, like, I don't know. It's just like, that was my biggest like adjustment.
Mara.
For me, it was definitely very hot during move-in. But I think like because you hear so much about weather whenever you go to the East Coast from the West Coast, I was like, I'm not letting the weather affect me. Like, I don't care. Like the weather is not a big deal. So I sort of, it wasn't even that cold this year.
When October hit, you didn't start feeling
it was not that cold. Like I was prepared. Like I knew I needed to get a coat at a certain time, and I just got the coat and I layered, and it was really fine. And it snowed like a couple times. I got boots and I wore them once. So I didn't really let the weather affect me as much as I think it would have, because everyone was just talking about it, and I was like, I don't want that to define my experience in college.
When the snow came, you didn't get excited and do a snow.
I did. I was so excited.
Now see, that's the Samara I know.
I was excited. I think I was just I was more excited to like have my own space and create my routine. My mom stayed a couple days
Mhm.
after my dad left, up literally until like the first, like a day before my first class, I think, or like the first welcome week or right before the activity started. And so at that time, it was more like, okay, I'm ready for her to go and I'm ready to be by myself. So I think that time with her was good because I didn't really have that anxiety of like figuring out stuff by myself. And I didn't really know anyone going into DW too. So like she was helping me walking around and seeing things, going to the market for the first time with her, going to like the stores around with her and just like getting comfortable with the campus itself. And then so when she left, I sort of knew a little bit more. And it was just up to me to like create my schedule of what I wanted, how I wanted my week to look with my classes, and just focus on like, you know, meeting people. So I think that's like my biggest
Yeah,
suggestion is if you have that like luxury of like
I agree.
spending that extra time in DC right up until like the events start with Jordana, like definitely do that, just to like get her acclimated with like the buildings and the stores and the campus in general. And then that gave me a lot of confidence going into the week, and everything.
Yeah, I didn't go to your move-in.
No, it was
I think
good.
I'm going. I barely was I at yours. I was
Yes, you
okay.
were.
It's hit and miss every other year, so I don't know. All right. So what about you and adjusting and all? You come the first day, first week.
Okay, so mine was more like Samara's. I hope I'm saying it right. But my mom did stay for pretty much a week. She helped me move in everything. My
Oh
whole
yeah.
dorm. Yeah, she walked
Wait,
around.
wait, wait. It was two generations there.
Oh, my grandmother. Or yeah. Yeah, I think my grandmother was there. Well, my aunt had came one time, so I think it was my grandmother.
Grandmother
My
the first
dad,
time.
my dad was there. I don't
Okay.
know if my brother was there. I can't remember because it was his senior year of college, my freshman year. So I think he was at school. But they stayed for pretty much a whole week and we went places together. We went to stores like Costco and whatever, just making sure that I have everything I needed for the first week. And like I said, they gave me a sense of peace and confidence that I'll be okay. I can say, just to be realistic, I was homesick my first year. I was
I
very
know. I
homesick,
know.
and that's only because it took me a while to push myself out there to start talking to people. And so when I did, I finally got like I finally was able to speak and meet people and get into things. Like I know a few things that had started to come back when you guys were talking about the things you were involved in, which I don't know how I forgot. But I was involved in like a community service group. So that was really important to me. And then another thing I was involved in was like I would volunteer at Miriam's Kitchen, and just giving back. Even though that's not necessarily a part of GW, that was just a way to give back. But I learned these things through the Multicultural Center, and then also I was my freshman and sophomore year before, because this other group that I was in, it was a Bible study group. It was ran by seniors, but for the first 2 years before they left, I was able to have that, and I think that the Bible study group was probably like one of the most important things for me my freshman and sophomore year, just to feeling comfortable because I was on my own and I was it was kind of on me to figure everything out. And so I think that, it was tough my first year. The time change was tough. The fast pace was tough, but, I got used to it and I'm very, grateful and blessed I was able to have this experience. I know that for me, the weather was a little different because I did experience the cold. Don't get me wrong, I love the snow. So I did use my boots a lot. I did use my coat a lot. I did get cold. I think probably the lowest temperature I've experienced was probably like 15, 10, something like that. But
Nice.
it wasn't too it wasn't too bad. It only got bad when it was windy. When it's windy and cold, it was the worst. But when it's not windy, it's manageable. Um, but other than that, yes, I know that your experience, Jordana, is going to be a little different because for me, like I said, the Multicultural Center was the top thing for me, getting acclimated on campus and getting close to people and meeting people. But I know that for your specific major and what you're going to study, it's a little different. So you kind of have a built-in little community, and that's going to be one of the things that you'll be able to lean on, especially going in, because it's not necessarily easy to just, go around meeting people. That takes time, to be able to build that confidence enough to speak out to people, unless you're just naturally like that. But I wasn't. So yeah.
All right. Sister Lambe, I think you may have had something else. Are you cool? I'm setting up a session just for you and the other parents,
Thank you, Deacon. We appreciate it. But this has definitely been helpful. I mean, you guys totally covered, because it's not only Jordana that has the anxieties, the parents have the anxieties too.
No, you wouldn't do that. Not you.
You wouldn't believe that it's the third child, right? But
I know.
when it's the baby, then there is a special attachment.
Oh,
It's the baby, it's a special
Jordana.
attachment. So we are both, but I like the way Samara put it, that what her parents did. We actually have it set up practically the same way, just to have that confidence that she's comfortable. And we know that when we have to leave, it's, she's still not gonna be fully comfortable, but we also need to have the assurance of the environment that we're leaving her in, and that, she's able to go to the grocery store, she's able to find this, find that, and I don't know, as far as walking around, and is it uh easy to walk around, or is it is everything
Oh,
that far where you have to jump on transportation, and how do you, is it easy to venture off campus? I know there are two campuses. So how do you, if in the event you find yourself having classes at one campus and the other campus, how do you move in between?
give the obvious thing first there, Bailey.
Okay, so I can speak a little bit. I know things are probably a little different now, but for me, one of the things that helped was I used a map. So I looked at the GW campus map. Like I just searched it up on Google on my phone, and it had basically like a layout of where all the buildings were. And then I also just kind of asked people like, hey, do you know where this building is? Like as I'm passing by. But I just searched up the GW campus map just on Google if I needed to figure out, sorry.
Tell your stockbroker to call back later.
Just to figure out where things were. But also things aren't that widespread out where you would need transportation for everywhere. I know that when I first started, there was the bus that would go from, for example, Elliott, which is probably it's probably the most far building that we have, to a little closer to, for example, Funger, which is kind of like in the center of things. I don't know if they're still.
Funger's still there?
Yes.
Funger.
I don't know if they're still doing that distance, because I know, as far as I remember from my last semester, I couldn't remember if they were doing that, but as far as knowing where the
so
bus,
there's a shuttle between the two, right?
Yes, the shuttle. The shuttle for me, my last semester, it had moved, and I can't for the life of me figure out what the name, if it was like Monroe, but it moved in front of a certain building, and it takes you from there to Mount Vernon. And that's something you'll definitely know. They're going to tell you, where the shuttles are. And there was an app. I didn't really use it too much, but it told you like the time periods where it ran from. And it pretty much ran pretty much all night, with the exception of like maybe an hour, a few hours or something like that. But it's not as hard as you would think to navigate around campus. I know that Imani and Samara probably have more to say because they're still on campus. So yeah.
I would say like from a programming perspective, like the Weeks of Welcome program is really robust. So like I remember planning it last year, they had days where you could go like meet up with like orientation leaders, and they would show you and walk with you through where all your classes would be. So like I would just start by like first following the GW student life account on Instagram. because that's where you're going to see a lot of like, and reading all the emails that they're sending you, because the orientation programming is really like, they put a lot into that to make it a good experience. And they also have these things called district connections trips, which I went on a lot of them myself, where they'll actually like have, again, orientation leaders that will take you around the city. So like there was a district connections trip that went to like the DuPont Circle Farmers Market, which is like,
Really?
yeah, like a
Nice
15,
place.
20-minute walk. But like they would basically like they would go with different places around the city. And that's a good way to like, they show you how to use the metro, like you can go with them and there's somebody who's going to go there and back to campus. So like I would like lean on like those programming, and like it seems kind of dorky, honestly, like who's gonna go on this trip? Like they'll go to Safeway, which is like another grocery store, or like they'll take you to Trader Joe's and stuff like that. Like it seems kind of weird. Like why would you go on like a field trip basically with people? But like it's all the same people. Like it's all freshmen, like or transfer students who are like trying to like understand the city like you are. So like just keep an eye for those. Sometimes they have like tickets to like the Caps games and things like that they'll take people on, or like just different things around the city. So like there's a lot of like stuff coming at you for like weeks of welcome and stuff like that, but there is like some programming that's like really helpful.
Well, I just thought about this. You now know someone on the program board, Jordana. That's a pretty good connection.
Yeah, there's always like
Oh, good.
yeah, but just like social media, I feel like is a really big way that they like promote those aside from the email. So just like keep your eye out for stuff like that, and don't be afraid to go like actually go to the stuff, because like it's not as bad as you think, and there are people there who are like going through the same thing as you. So like just go.
Yeah, to me, dorky things are the most interesting, just for the record. But anyway, Samara, any comment on all this?
Yeah, so
And
just to
Tina?
clarify, like the Vern and Foggy
Oh,
Bottom,
yeah,
there's a
please do.
shuttle that takes you to and from there like every 15 minutes. So just to like clarify that, because I know it's like can be confusing. I've actually never been to the Vern since I've been at GW.
But you know
Like
about it.
for class wise, I've been once with my mom. Like I did that before she left, but I never had to go for classes. But there's also a thing called GW Safe Ride, which is like an app, and it's a car service. I forget the hours that it runs, but like at nighttime to like 4 or 3 in the morning, that you can like reserve a ride to get somewhere if you don't feel comfortable walking late at night. So that's also a really good tool. I know my friends used it a lot. I didn't, because I liked walking. Everything on Foggy Bottom is like 10-minute walk, at the most 15 if you're like walking slowly. But like I had to walk from Elliott to Milken, which Elliott is like on the edge of the campus.
Oh, Elliott, yeah.
Elliott is like the Bailey said, at the edge of the campus, and then Milken's like on the upper, like other side of the campus, and that was like a 12-minute walk. So everything's really manageable walking wise. Even if you, like I said, if you wanted to walk to Georgetown, it's like a 20-minute walk. And also I know I can't use a map and walk at the same time. I just use Google Maps on my phone and just like typed in my class building, and that would tell you like exactly where to go, obviously, and then how long that would take you, so you would know if you need a run or something. But yeah, everywhere it's super close.
All right, we could sort of come to it, but I have one of the I have a 2%er here. A 2% means the top 2% of parents.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you. Why you came here? You came. You were here. You're here.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean? I was here.
Yes, GW student meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, actually, Milan couldn't be here, but we still discuss all of this as a family. And I know
You
you
looking
went
at
there.
GW?
Well, that's why, because you went there, and
I did.
in DC, we love DC, and just wanted to see some alternatives to, it's like, okay, Howard, if you're in DC, well, what about Georgetown? What about
I have the
and
perfect
George
question.
Washington?
I have the
Yeah.
perfect question to ask somebody here. So Bailey, how many times you visited Howard while you there?
I visited Howard quite a bit. I can say that I knew a couple of people going there, and then also through Deacon, I met more people. So whenever I felt like,
I find that hard to believe, but I guess you did.
What?
You met people that go to Howard through me.
Yes. And when I felt like I wanted to be around my people, I would just go up there and hang out with friends or go to basketball games or, they
Yes.
had homecoming
Did
there.
you go to homecoming? Yeah, okay.
So,
I
yeah.
mean, do you
Samara,
do you
did you
feel
go there tomorrow? Did you go over there tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, I didn't go to homecoming because
I mean, up to
and
Howard,
everything.
though.
But no, I had a couple friends there, and I would go pretty often. I would mostly hear about all the stuff they're going through.
Right.
And I even knew a couple people that had to come to GW to use the utilities because of
Right.
Howard,
Oh my
like a
God.
lot of the stuff
I
that they were
had
going
I had
through.
students in my program that missed a year over that, and I had to fight for them to get back in with no cost.
Yeah, and Howard was my my other option. I was choosing between Howard and
Yes,
GW.
you were.
And I feel like I'm happy with my choice just because I've had a lot of opportunities, and I feel like a lot more comfortable and secure. But I feel like I also experienced Howard through my friends and a lot of the programs that they have there too. So you can also take classes there at Howard through the DC
Exchange.
consortium.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and you can take classes at Georgetown and American too. It's like a DC consortium thing.
Catholic U too.
Yeah, so if you want that experience, you can have it at the same time. So yeah.
Now,
Mr. Green, you had another question. Go ahead.
and this might have come up, and I'm sorry that I couldn't jump on until a little bit later, but just in terms of financial aid assistance, are there a lot of opportunities there at
Should
GW?
ask me that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Deacon.
Expert.
Oh, I know, but that you're on this panel. I mean,
Yeah, I know your situation very well.
Thank you.
And you're the kind of student. Remember, I have these certain schools for certain situations. It's just that your other girl wasn't interested in GW, but I have a good, how do I say this in a way?
Milan. Sense of Milan.
I have a decent understanding of GW, and people there have favor on our students. I'll just say it that way. You're not allowed to nod, Imani.
Okay.
And certain, if she comes through me and applies,
I see.
that's all I need to say.
Okay.
And I
would
think
say, like, comparatively, like looking at my financial aid packages when I was deciding, because I also was between like Howard, Seattle Pacific, and like some other schools. I feel like the offer that they gave me initially, but then also just like going through the school, like it has been like a pretty good experience, like compared to like other people I've known who've been to like Cal States or like who stayed at different schools. Like I think I've had a really good experience with their financial aid and just like getting the support that I need. Like I don't know that I would have had the same experience like looking back for like going to Howard, where I feel like I'm fighting with the financial aid type of thing. But
I can tell you, I know we're running short on time, but I can tell you that when compared to my other private schools, there's certain private schools, GW, Lehigh, and some other ones. I'll tell you all of them.
Yeah.
Which are really different. The other one is, what's that school? Carnegie Mellon. They're just different the way they do it. GW's in that group.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want
to charge you for school. You'll be shocked.
Yeah, I definitely want to at some point, have a consultation with you, Deacon.
Yeah. You know you're 2%er. I'll do you right. I had version 1 already, right?
Yeah,
you had. Right?
Yeah, part 1. Yeah, she's doing fine. She's kicking butt.
We have version 2. So the land-based, Jordana Lambe is here. She's going to GW this year. But I think her mom will tell you I handled the other 2. Well, it's like, are you sure you don't have any other ones at home, Sister Lambe? She's not listening.
They're at home. Yeah, they're home.
Yeah, all 3. Yeah. So anyway, people do that.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta stop because I got 8:30.
Okay.
I gotta clear my head.
You guys really provided a whole heap of information and really appeased us and help us to understand and know that, okay, we got this, we can do this. So thank you guys so much.
Thank
Samara
you so much.
and Imani, I know that we'll be seeing you. So.
Yeah, we're gonna have a cup of coffee or something when they get over. I'm coming in for move-in, and Bailey here will be officially charged for my team with watching that region. I'm sure she's gonna want to connect with you, Jordana. I'm gonna send her out there as a ambassador at least once. She doesn't know it yet. send her out there to check on things and make sure you're okay.
Are there any fly-ins or opportunity for tours coming up
Well, of
for
course,
GW
I'll be taking a group there to
at GW?
DC. I'll be
Okay.
taking a group to DC in September. The details will be announced very shortly. Just have to clear the dates with Bailey and the rest of my administrative team. They don't like me planning things without them. When I
Okay.
do that, they get all upset with me. They think I'm like forgetting and stuff. Anyway, so soon I'm going to announce a DC tour. And we usually, in the good old days, I took 14 people on the last DC trip. There's a picture of us standing on steps at the Ford Theater. It's in my mind. And also I have to take them to see the Frederick Douglass House. Anyway, but let's
Oh,
go
wow.
about that trip.
Okay. Thank you, Deacon. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate you all.